Howdy neighbors, welcome to another episode of League on Lock. Eric and Mark with you guys for a little bit of power ranking action, and there's been a lot of movement. There's always a lot of movement, except for basically the top spot in all the major regions. They've been the same since week one. That's just how it goes.
The elite level teams here in each of these kind of major regions has proven themselves to be that top level, to be that upper echelon here of what you could reach in this region. But right now, as we're watching, the majority of the teams here fall into this clump here, and it's not a lot of good action going on.
The top dogs have stayed just there at the top. But yeah, outside of that, it has been an absolute mess. And North America is no exception. The entire middle chunk, you kind of have your top 3 or 4, and outside of that, I don't think they should be making playoffs, any of these teams. Let's just skip the bye, top 4 right into semis.
Hey, that will save everybody some time, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, cut down a little bit of the playoff time, get a little bit more time to have some fun in St. Louis this spring. This will be great.
And save yourself some eye strain. But coming in at number 10 on the power rankings here in North America, it's the same as last week, even though Clutch got a win. They did get a win against the Guardians. It was a pretty ugly game, and I think overall what we've seen so far, Clutch still looks like the weakest team in North America right now. And as everyone predicted, right in top of them, 100 Thieves down 2 spots after another 0-2 week. This one maybe more disappointing than last week.
Oh, without a doubt, this is more disappointing. The thing that happened here for 100 Thieves, we're talking about the clump. The clump here in the middle of the rankings.
They don't even make the clump.
They're not even in the clump. That is my biggest issue here is the last game that they had this week, you knew that they needed that victory to get to 4-6, and you realize that, hey, if you get to 4-6, that's still not good. But if you get to 4-6, you're in that clump. You're with the rest of these teams, and you're in that little level. But getting 3-7, even though it is only 1 loss behind here, it is that separating factor that does dictate that, hey, you're not as good as these teams. You've not performed to the level that these guys have. And if this clump is what it takes, and we haven't been impressed with their performance, how do you think we feel about 100 Thieves down here at number 9 in the power ranking?
Yeah, it's pretty horrible, and that matchup against Optic in particular, I mean, we kind of talked about how Bang versus Crown, how that matchup went, but the one against 100 Thieves was even worse. And to think, Optic went 2-0 this week, and it was, that does not give you confidence on this team. Yes, they're up a spot. They did go 2-0, all credit to them, but these were sloppy games that took a while to close out. And the problem with North America a lot of the time is you don't see teams making proactive plays to win the game. It's capitalizing on the opposing team making mistakes. And you know what? There's a lot of mistakes in most of these games.
There have been a lot of mistakes in these games, a lot of mistakes in Optic's game, but you do have to give them credit for coming out with that 2-0 weekend here. And I think if you're looking for positives and something that they've actually done really well, I think, is this change this week in how they adapted their roster and what they wanted to do with their jungle position, and specifically identifying that someone like Dardoch has a lot of experience playing with or against the players on the other side of the map and thinking that this could be an advantage for us. I really liked that train of thought from Optic Gaming, given that there is that stability with this 10-man roster here to try and change things up like that, and it worked out this week, and I'm glad to see those results.
Yeah, I mean, Meteos and Dardoch both looked decent in their matchups, and it's good to see them both getting some playing time. Rounding out the bottom 5, you've got a few more 4-6 teams. CLG, I made the mistake of having a bit of hype for them, and they disappointed mightily. Then you had Echo Fox in at number 6, who finally, Rush went 0-2, Mark. Absolute tragedy.
Sad times. It's the end of Rush's era of the 1-1, at least LCS weekends here. And I think this is kind of that thing where we talked about Echo Fox. We didn't really expect them to be at 4-4. And I think this is maybe a sign that they're going to fall a little bit back in towards the, kind of second half tier here in the LCS.
And top 5, you see Golden Guardians, the biggest climb of the week, and you will say, why on earth did Golden Guardians go up 3 spots? All those 4-6 teams were so underwhelming. Maybe you say Optic should be a lot higher for going 2-0, but we just touched on that. Golden Guardians lost to Clutch, but I feel like if you go pre-week 5 and exclude week 1, of course, Golden Guardians still look like they should be the strongest team out of that absolute mess that is those 4 teams at 4 and 6.
I think what you're seeing with the Golden Guardians now as time has moved on here from the beginning of the spring split is that you're seeing that cohesion that we've been asking for, a little bit more synergy with the squad, understanding what your teammates might want at a certain situation a little bit faster, things like that, the cleaning up of the comms. I think that is an important part, and I think Golden Guardians have just started to do that, and I think we'll start to see even more improvements moving forward.
And that 5th place is kind of where the line is drawn. The top 4 actually have looked decent, even though FlyQuest just went 0-2 this week. It was a tough couple of matchups against C9 and TSM, so you can't fault them too badly for losing those matches. They had a great start against Cloud9 and actually looked really solid. So there's still plenty of positives. FlyQuest, I don't have any doubt that they'll be a playoff team here in 2019. And TSM continues to climb. They keep on winning. They're into the top 3. The Wrath is fully operational, and they pretty much had the lowest kill games throughout the entire weekend, but still 2 wins for them. This FlyQuest game, FlyQuest again had a solid start against TSM, ended up dropping both games. But don't look now, the TSM hype is coming.
The TSM hype train in full action now. Get ready. It's still in the station. It's still in the station, folks.
But it's warming up real good.
You can still buy those tickets, but you better hop on this train real fast because it's getting ready to leave. This squad this weekend got it done. Some smurfing done by Smoothie playing the Thresh in this one, making Stixay just, oh boy, that is not looking good.
I don't know what happened to CLG's bottom lane this weekend.
Well, I tell you what happened. Smoothie was smurfing on them hardcore. But with TSM and the positives that you want to be talking about, again, we've seen a much stronger early game from this team right from the get-go this year. And again, what they needed to solve here was more or less doing something with the leads that they would get in the mid-game. Well, this week you saw one game, obviously, where they got out massive advantages early, and you didn't really learn too much because, well, they kept those advantages throughout the rest of the game and ended it. The match against FlyQuest, people are going to say, well, that one caused a little bit of concern. And I think actually, if you look there, there's a lot of positives from Team Solo Mid in that one, given the disadvantage that they were in after the early game proactivity from FlyQuest. I think TSM found the smart ways to get back in the game and take the objective control.
Yeah, and TSM, overall, the aggressive plays for Macadian and Broken Blade are definitely helping them out. Top 2, the same as it's been for multiple weeks now, Liquid and Cloud9. No real arguments against that case, but I will say Cloud9 might actually be closer to Team Liquid's level than maybe we initially thought. Both teams still looking good in North America.